2 weeks before her wedding. The man she loved changed his number, stopped answering her calls, and disappeared to America without goodbye. The villagers laughed at her. The wedding drinks had already been bought. Goats had already been priced. Family members were already preparing wrappers for the celebration. And overnight, the woman everybody once envied became the woman everybody pitied. But Ifeoma thought that heartbreak would be the worst thing life could ever do to her. She had no idea. Lagos was waiting. And Lagos was about to introduce her to a completely different kind of pain. Ifeoma grew up in a small village in eastern Nigeria. The kind of village where morning started with rooster sounds and women sweeping dusty compounds before sunrise. Everybody knew everybody there. If somebody cried at night, the entire village would hear about it before morning. Life was simple. But it was hard. Very hard. Ifeoma's father died when she was only 9 years old. After his death, everything changed immediately. School became difficult. Food became uncertain. And childhood ended early for her. Her mother became both mother and father overnight. Every morning before daylight, the woman carried baskets of vegetables to the market just to feed her children. Sometimes she returned home exhausted with swollen legs. Still, she never complained. Ifeoma watched all of this closely while growing up. That was why she became hardworking very early. Before most girls her age woke up, Ifeoma had already fetched water from the stream. She helped cook, worked on farms, sold vegetables, and still assisted neighbors for small money. People in the village respected her deeply. Not just because she was beautiful, but because she carried pain quietly. Even as a teenager, Ifeoma rarely behaved like other girls. While others talked about fashion and parties, Ifeoma worried about survival. She wanted stability, peace, a home where suffering would finally end. And maybe, just maybe, a man who would love her genuinely. Then Chucks entered her life. The first day Ifeoma saw him properly was during a December celebration in the village square. Music played loudly. Children ran around laughing. Women danced happily. And then Chucks arrived in a shiny car that immediately attracted attention. Everybody turned to look. He dressed differently from village men. Clean shoes. Expensive wristwatch. Confident smile. The type of man people immediately assumed was successful. Women whispered excitedly when he walked past. But strangely, his eyes stayed on Ifeoma. At first, she ignored him completely. Men had admired her before. That was not new. But Chucks was persistent. The next day, he visited her mother's compound carrying bags of rice and food items. Ifeoma was shocked. Nobody had ever done something like that before. Her mother welcomed him carefully but remained suspicious. Men who appeared too perfect often brought problems later. Still, Chuck spoke respectfully, calmly, like somebody who truly cared. Over time, he became a regular presence around the family. He helped repair part of their leaking roof, bought school sandals for Ifeoma's younger brother, even gave her mother money secretly sometimes. And little by little, Ifeoma's walls began to fall. For the first time in years, life started feeling lighter. Whenever Chucks visited, the compound suddenly became happier. Her mother cooked better meals. Her younger siblings laughed more. Even neighbors noticed the difference. People began saying, Ifeoma has finally found a responsible man. And honestly, it looked true. At night, Chucks and Ifeoma sat outside under the moon talking for hours. He spoke about Lagos, about opportunities, about business, about traveling abroad someday. And every time he spoke about the future, Ifeoma was inside that future. That was what made her trust him completely. He never spoke like a man, playing games. He spoke like a husband already planning tomorrow. One evening, while they sat quietly outside, Chuck suddenly held her hand and said softly, "I know you have suffered before, but I promise you, your suffering will end with me." Ifeoma felt tears gathering in her eyes immediately. Nobody had ever spoken to her like that before. And maybe that was the beginning of everything. Months later, Chuck officially came with his family for introduction. That day felt like a dream. The compound was full of laughter. Drinks were shared. Elders prayed. Her mother smiled so much that neighbors kept teasing her. For the first time since her husband died, hope returned to that house. Wedding discussions started immediately. Dates were proposed. Lists were written. Plans were made. Ifeoma herself could barely sleep at night anymore. She kept imagining her future. Marriage. Children. A peaceful home. Maybe even traveling abroad one day with Chucks. Everything suddenly felt possible. Preparations moved quickly. Tailors started sewing clothes. Women volunteered to help cook during the ceremony. Her friends discussed hairstyles and makeup excitedly. Even villagers who once ignored the family suddenly became friendly. Because success attracts people. Then something small changed. At first, nobody noticed. Chuck stopped calling as often. Instead of long late-night conversations, calls became shorter. Rushed. Distracted. Whenever Ifeoma asked if everything was okay, he smiled and said, "Business stress. Nothing more." Still, her heart became uneasy. Women usually sense danger before it arrives fully. Days passed. Communication reduced further. Sometimes he ignored her calls completely. Then apologized later. Then one morning, his line stopped going through entirely. Ifeoma tried again. And again. Maybe network issues. Maybe business travel. Maybe something happened. But deep inside, something already felt terribly wrong. Then she visited one of Chuck's close friends quietly. The man looked uncomfortable immediately. And before Ifeoma even sat down properly, she knew. Chucks had traveled to America. Quietly. Without telling her. Without goodbye. Without explanation. Ifeoma laughed nervously at first. No, impossible. But nobody corrected the story. Nobody denied it. That was when reality finally landed. The wedding was not postponed. It was finished. That night, Ifeoma cried until sunrise. Not ordinary crying. The kind of crying that changes a person permanently. She stared at the wedding materials in the corner of the room for hours. Her mother sat beside her silently, unable to speak. Because there are some heartbreaks words cannot touch. The next few weeks became unbearable. Villagers started gossiping openly now. She was too proud. Maybe he discovered bad character. Maybe she pushed him away. People who once admired her suddenly enjoyed discussing her humiliation. Even some women secretly felt satisfied. That is one painful thing about society. Sometimes people celebrate your downfall more than your success. Ifeoma stopped attending church. Stopped visiting friends. Stopped smiling completely. Whenever she heard footsteps near their compound, anxiety entered her body immediately. Because she was tired of pity. Tired of whispers. Tired of shame. One afternoon, she overheard women discussing her at the market. One woman laughed and said, "Imagine preparing wedding for a man already planning America." The women laughed loudly. Ifeoma quietly turned back and went home without buying anything. That evening, her mother found her crying alone behind the house. Depression slowly swallowed her completely. She barely ate. Barely slept. Even her younger siblings became scared of her silence. Her mother entered her room quietly and said, "My daughter, please don't allow one man destroy your life." But honestly, Ifeoma already felt destroyed. Months later, terrible news reached the village. Chucks had gotten engaged abroad to another woman. That was the final blow. Ifeoma locked herself inside for almost 2 days. No food, no talking, nothing. Her mother cried secretly that week. Because watching your child suffer helplessly is a pain no parent deserves. Eventually, Ifeoma made a decision. She could not remain in that village anymore. Every road reminded her of embarrassment. Every gathering reminded her of shame. So one early morning, with one traveling bag and a broken heart, she boarded a bus to Lagos. The journey felt endless. As the bus moved farther from the village, Ifeoma stared silently through the window. Some passengers laughed loudly. Others slept peacefully, but felt empty, like life had suddenly become unfamiliar. Then Lagos appeared. Loud, chaotic, aggressive. Downfall buses shouting endlessly. Street hawkers running between cars. Traffic everywhere. Heat rising from the roads. Nobody cared about your pain in Lagos. As long as you survived, that was enough. Ifeoma stayed temporarily with a distant relative in a crowded compound. The room was tiny, hot, uncomfortable. But at least, nobody there knew her story. Nobody knew she was once preparing for a wedding. Nobody knew she used to believe in love. The first few months in Lagos humbled her deeply. She searched for jobs every single day. Sometimes she trekked long distances because she had no transport money. Some employers insulted her openly. Others tried taking advantage of her beauty. One man offered her employment only if she agreed to take care of him. Ifeoma left immediately. Life became survival. Pure survival. Eventually, she got work in a small salon. The pay was poor, but she survived. And slowly. And she also sells foodstuffs in the market. After closing by 5 p.m. from her salon job, every evening before going home. Beautiful women rarely stay unnoticed in Lagos. One customer asked for her number repeatedly. She refused politely. Another man offered to rent apartments for her. She rejected him immediately. Then came a calm young man named Tond. Educated, respectful, patient. He genuinely liked her. And honestly, he seemed like a good man. But the moment he mentioned relationship, Ifeoma pulled away emotionally. Love no longer looked safe to her. Not after Chucks. The heartbreak changed her deeply. Before, she believed promises. Now, promises sounded dangerous. So she focused on only 3 things: work, money, healing. Years passed slowly. And something surprising happened. Ifeoma became stronger. Not happier, but stronger. She learned business skills. Started saving money. Even began supporting her mother from Lagos little by little. The soft village girl who once dreamed about fairy tale love slowly disappeared. And viewers watching her story would probably think, maybe she's finally learned her lesson. Maybe this woman will never allow love destroy her again. But sometimes, life waits until you finally feel safe again. Before introducing your next test. And somewhere in Lagos, a man was about to enter Ifeoma's life. A man who would slowly make her believe in love again. And eventually, become the greatest pain she had ever known.